Unmasking the Covered Me podcast. UTCM was birthed from me realizing that there is a greater me on the inside of me. The phrase, there's a greater you on the inside of you, means being above normal, understanding your worth, and being confident in knowing who you are. But the first person who has to realize that there's a greater you on the inside of you is you. In life, we all go through stages of the good, the bad, and the ugly, which leads us to our purpose and promise. UTCM is a platform where you get to share your story and your truth of unmasking moments that allows you to embrace all stages in your life. UTCM looks forward to many people being able to unmask, uncover, and unveil themselves on the podcast. Thank you for watching and joining us. We live! Hey, everybody who's going to come on. And everybody, nobody has just joined just yet, but they will. So Char, I did tag you too as well. So, whomever wants to go on your page, they'll be able to watch too from your page. And then I'll also put up the comments as they come up too as well. If you want to, say something to a comment or whatever the case may be, we just allow it to flow. You know what I'm saying? We just allow it to flow, right? We just want to be us. Right. So I'm super excited. I am super, super excited to have you on. You guys, she can introduce herself, but she has been nothing but a blessing to me ever since I was introduced to her. I did get her information from my brother, Darrell Robinson, who she also published his book, and she published my book. So, I mean, I gotta give you a hand clap because I definitely appreciate you taking me under your wing and kind of like just fiddling and coddling and saying, you know what, we got this, and we gonna do it. It was nothing but amazing, the journey that she walked me through because it was I called it like I'm having a hard time. Like it was a mess. It was a hot mess, but it turned out into this beautiful thing that was birthed. And I'm just so grateful and thankful for Char. She's dope. She's super dope. I was just saying that backstage. She is truly a blessing, and I'm honored to have her. So welcome everybody to season 3, episode 4. Period. I'm so excited. Right. Every time somebody says period. Hey, Bree. Yeah, I met Bree through Char too as well. These ladies are just super dope. I'm just like super excited to be able to be a part of their circle. So before we get started, I just want to let everybody know that UTCM does have new merch. So if you are looking for a t-shirt, Living Through Purpose, we got really beautiful, dope colors. Hit me up. All right. So enough about me. It is time for us to talk about the beautiful and wonderful Char. Right? I'm just excited. So I always ask all my guests, right? I feel like this is like the inaugural question that I always ask all my guests, right? How did you feel about the questionnaire?
So I thought the questions were really great. Hi Bree, I love you. That's my best friend. I thought the questions were great. I kind of was a little vague because I'm like, I don't really know how far we're gonna go, and I don't really know anything specific, but that you wanted to talk about. But I thought the questions were great.
Good, dope. Mm-hmm. Listen, that's what it's all about. And my thing is, the only thing that I really desire is just your transparency. Right. And I always use, for all my guests that I've had on, I felt every word that was written, whether it was a short phrase, whether it was like straight to the point. Like I just felt the honesty. And that's what it's all about. Unmasking yourself is about just being real and being honest, right? Like there's no other way around it. Like you literally, when you're uncovering something, you know what I'm saying, you're showing your true self, right? And that's just what you did in the questionnaire. So I appreciate that. And sometimes you just like, you know what, I just can't overthink it. Let me just write. And that's just what it is, right? Of
Mhm.
course, you are a writer too, as well. So, and we'll kind of dive on into that too, as well, because you got some good stuff coming up. So I will give you a chance and an opportunity to kind of speak about, the new project that you have coming up, which is great. So we're gonna dive right on in.
Mhm.
A so I always, again, this question, always ask my guests, right? Describe yourself, right? Just using 3 words. And I always say that it's always like a word or like a little phrase that, one of my guests write that kind of like jumps out at me. So one of the words that you used to describe yourself was colorful, right?
Mhm.
What does that look like? What does that mean to you when you say you are colorful?
That looks like I am extremely extroverted
Mm.
and I love people and I like to and I never ask people this, but how did you feel when you met me when we first talked on the phone? It was like, oh my God, it's like a breath of
The
fresh
fresh
air.
air. Yes.
Right. Like I'm vibrant. I can be pinks and purples and blues and yellows and whatever other color I can be, full of life and just an array of a lot. I could be an
Mm.
array of a lot and invoke a lot within people and pull out a lot within people. And I recognize that. And that's something that I lean into. I lean into that colorful side of who I am.
That's good. I mean,
Hmm.
I when I thought of colorful, I thought of like colors and different things like that, but I never equated it to like vibrant, right?
Hmm.
Like again, but like I said, in the intro, I said when I first met you, and mind you, this wasn't in person.
Mm-mm.
This was over the phone. This wasn't a Zoom. Like I didn't see her. There was no video. I was actually just like talking to her. And it literally felt like, not even just because of the circumstances, I just felt like it was just your personality. Like that's just what you exuded, was
Hmm.
just like really like a breath of fresh air, and really just having a love and a passion for what you do, but most importantly for people.
Hmm.
And which is huge, right, in the work that you do, because people come to you with being in fear. People come to you with being scared and not for certain, and not knowing what it's all gonna look like, and not even really knowing how to communicate, like what they really want or what they need. And you kind of like tap into like trying to figuring that out a little bit,
Hmm.
which is super dope. But I also feel like on the flip side, that can also be a little exhausting too, as well.
And so I have to decompress and
Mm,
um I have to fill back up as big as I give out and as much as I give out. I have to have that much time to myself and that much space for me to just be a human being
mm,
and to be vulnerable with me. Um, and that's huge. That's something that I struggle with for a long time. My vulnerability with myself,
mm.
because I always had to be, or I always was everything for everybody,
Right.
and it was exhausting. It was exhausting. It was lonely, and it created chaos
Mm,
within me and within me. And so, as big as I am and as much as I give out, I need that for me too. And so I've learned that even like more now, that nope, I have to show it for me too.
Yeah, that's that self-reflection work,
Right.
which has been like huge too. Like I've been on this like really self-reflecting journey,
Mhm.
which is sometimes not necessarily so easy, and sometimes it feels like suffering. But understanding that I'm really learning like myself, right? Um, so kind of like talk about, because you said like show up for you, right? Like what does that look like? And you talking about, you said a lot of stuff, right? But it's like you said, show up for yourself and then also like decompress, right? So when you say show up for yourself, like what does that look like for Char when she has to show up for herself and decompress?
Showing up for me, and I'll use this season, has been me cutting everybody off. I
Mm.
could not. I couldn't. I can't. I have to show up for me and say, I don't have it to give. People last year, like at the end of last year, people will call, people normally call when they need prayer or they need to know where they are in proximity to God. They need a prophetic word. And I had to say, I can't, I don't have anything to give you. I don't have anything to give you. In fact, can you pray for me? Because I don't have I don't have anything to give you, because I know last year I was suffering. I was just suffering in depression really, really bad. I
Mm.
mean, it was bad. Like I was on antidepressants. That's how bad it was.
Wow.
And I had to say, no, no, I'm not going to church. No, I'm not going there. No, I'm not doing that. I had to show up for me and sit in it and suffer in it and suffer through it. And I hate suffering, but I understand it now. Totally
Mm.
understand it. Um, and so that decompression was relieving pressure off of me, because unmasking, people think unmasking is ministry. It's not. Unmasking is not ministry. Unmasking is self-preservation.
Oh!
And it's not, I'm not a mask. I couldn't heal in front of people. That wouldn't have preserved me. That would have caused ridicule. That would have, people would have gave me unsolicited advice and scriptures and prayers. I couldn't unmask. We can never unmask in front of people, because we need
Mm.
to preserve ourselves. And I had to unmask in front of me and accept things that I didn't want to accept, and see me for who I was and see God for who He is. And it's a journey. It's a journey. So anybody out there, if you have to unmask, you can't unmask in front of people. People will see the reflection
Right. Yep. I was
once
just going to say that. Yep.
once you're done healing. And because if we have to unmask, we have to heal. There's healing that's there. It's not just, oh, I'm just, revealing. No, there's healing that has to happen. That's why we have to unmask. We have to take off everything that we put on, that we stuffed. We got to unstuff it. We got to unpack it. We got to peel back layers. And we have to unmask in front of us with God.
You talking
Self-preservation.
right.
Self-preservation. Had I been on Facebook like, oh, I'm depressed, I'm on antidepressants, I'm going through this, I'm going through that, I wouldn't have I wouldn't have gotten the understanding that I needed. I thought people turned their backs on me. That's how I felt. Like
Mm.
people turned their backs on me. And the Lord, He had to bring me back eventually and say, no, I needed you to follow me. I needed to show you how to get to me. Period.
Mm.
Period. I mean, I'm reaching out to wise counsel. I'm
Right.
seeking wise counsel. I'm calling my pastor. I'm calling your apostle. I'm calling the apostle. I'm calling my spiritual mother, my apostle, my prophetic brothers. Like I'm calling people, and nobody had answers. Nobody. no,
Yeah.
nobody had answers. They're like, well, I don't know, and I don't. Well, you might have to do this, or you need to do that. And I'm like, tell me what I need to do. So I felt like, so last season I was dying.
Mm.
I was dying, like, No one could tell me that I was not dying. When doctors said, I don't know what else to do. There's nothing else to do. And because I bled for 90 days straight. 90. I bled for 90 days. So I'm already severely anemic, and I'm bleeding for 90 days,
Mm.
day after day. And I'm calling. I have 4 doctors. I'm calling them like, "Can I love you?"
Yeah, we
I'm
love you
like,
too.
"Can y'all stop this? Can y'all stop me from bleeding?" And they're like, "There's nothing we could do. Y'all caused it. Y'all made me bleed. Y'all can't stop it." And so, and just to give a little backstory about it,
Right.
how
I
I
was just getting ready to say, do you mind kind of like sharing and giving a backstory?
yeah, so every my health started to decline in 2014. Well, that's when the issue started, 2014. And the woman issues we have when we
Right.
bleed heavy, but
Yeah.
mine just got way out of control. And so we stopped it for 2 years, and then another doctor started it again, and we couldn't stop it. And so um that caused me to be like depressed because I'm dying. I can't do anything. I can't move. I can't breathe. My heart is racing. I'm like, I'm dying. I'm about to die. And night after night, I'm begging God, like, you can't let me die like this.
Mm.
You, this is the night I'm going to die. I'm going to have a heart attack. I'm dead. Iron. I was getting iron twice a week, every week for months, and my iron levels was not improving.
Mm.
And they still wanted me to get the iron, and I said, it's not working. Like nothing's working. So normal iron is what, 30? That's normal ferritin levels.
Mm.
Mine was at a 3.
Wow.
Normal hemoglobin, that's the blood volume, is what? Healthy is like 9 to like 15.
Right.
Mine's at a 5. And so, but I'm bleeding. So I'm going to the emergency room every 2 to 3 weeks on clockwork. I'm going, getting blood, but no one's giving me iron because they don't do that. Like, it's weird. And so I'm like, yo, I'm dying. And I reached out to my pastor, Pastor Darrell. I reached out to Apostle Kearney. I reached out to my spiritual mother, and I'm like, can y'all tell me what to do? Like, can y'all tell me what I need to do so that God will heal my body?
Mm.
Because I'm missing it. I've been saved for 15 years, and clearly it's not working for me. This word is not working for me. I've read, I prayed, I fasted, I changed my diet for 3 years. I sat on the altar. I was in worship. I was laid prostrate. Like, I did it. I prayed the scripture. I did it all. What do
Mm.
I need to do so that hello, SOS, what do I
Right.
need to do so that he will heal me? What? I will do anything, just not what I've done already. Because I'm not going to do that. You're not going to tell me to go deeper. I was deep. I was deep for 15 years. I don't know how
Right.
much. You're not going to tell me I need more faith. I already got faith. So tell me something I don't know. And no one had answers. And that's not a bad thing. Then I was like, how is it that the prophets and the apostles don't have the answers? They have answers for everything in the whole entire world. Everything. Everything. And nobody had an answer. And I said, I'm just going to die. My sister she was putting her finger under my nose when I was sleeping to make sure I was still breathing. It was
Mm.
it was bad. It was bad because I couldn't breathe. And so he said I needed, no one had answers. No one was supposed to have answers except for me. Except for me. Because I needed you to follow me. And I needed you. 2 years ago, he told me he was going to show me the way.
Mm.
And then I joined the way church, and I'm like, oh, this the way. He said, no, that's not the way. I need to show you how to follow me. And sometimes we got to follow God in the darkness. No matter
Mm.
what that looks like, because I couldn't see anything. I was following him in the dark and not being able to see or touch or feel nothing. I'm like, are you there? Like, why are you not here? I prayed for people and they lived. I fasted for 30 days at a time and I've seen crazy stuff, but when it comes to me, it's not working. And so this is the unmasking moments that I had to do, that shadow work that I had to do. I had to check myself. Like, I told God, I I was talking to Apostle Kearney and he gave me some advice. And I was considering it. Right. Brother, tell him I love you. And I was considering it when I got off the phone with Apostle Kearney and then my pastor, because we was all on three-way. I said, I don't trust you no more. Because he told me to do something I thought you took care of already. He said, Apostle said, oh, you got to forgive what people have done to you. Which I said, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I forgave everybody, but had I forgiven what they did? And when I got off the phone, I said, I don't trust you no more. You mean to tell me now I got to relive the trauma just so you can heal me? I don't trust you. You can heal me, but I don't trust you. And that's the vulnerability with myself, to be bold enough to say, God, I don't trust you. Now fix this. Because at this point, what am I going to do? How am I going to fix something that I didn't cause? I didn't cause this. You caused this. And so these are the moments that sis, these are the moments that I had to just shut everybody out, shut everything out, and cry and be angry. And my anger served a purpose. And I just had to give myself space and time to be mad at God and to figure out why I was really mad.
Right. That's good.
Yeah.
That's so good. I mean, you said so many like so many key things, right, to what really the unmasking journey looks like. Right. It literally, and the thing is, it was like it was actually like what it feels like, death. Like you're literally dying, right? And that I share the same, not the same thing, but it was a situation of where in 2020 where God had to strip everything away from me because I was dying on the inside. And it goes back again to the unforgiveness, right? Like, okay, I thought I forgave, but did you forgive for what they did? Right. And you to go into, I mean, because I feel like unforgiveness has been something that especially like we have been talking about like at our church, even like just in conversations at work with people. Forgiveness is like always coming up. Right. And you wrote something that kind of like just spoke out to me, talking about, your definition of forgiveness. And you did say that forgiveness is allowing space to be hurt, right? And I feel like for me that was the most uncomfortable feeling. So what I would do is I would, like, as soon as I would get started, I'm like, no, tapping out, tap out. No, nope, I don't want to do that. That's too uncomfortable. I don't want to have to feel like that. So then I felt like I was going backwards. And then I'm like, well, why did I end up right back here again? Like, why am I right back in the same situation, feeling the same way all over again? I thought I was over that. God. Right? Like, and understanding, like I talk to him, like if I'm feeling some type of way, like I'm just real. I'm just real. And sometimes it's not pretty. It's not a pretty conversation.
All the bad words. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. Right? I am hot. I'm on fire.
Mm-hmm.
because I just don't want to be uncomfortable. And why do we have to keep going back to this? He's like, because you're not dealing with it. If you deal with it, then we wouldn't have to we wouldn't have to keep revisiting it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I feel like, and this may be a little controversial what I'm about to say, but
Okay. Okay.
I feel like for so long, at least for the 15 years that I've been saved, the church has been a breeding ground for unforgiveness
Mm.
because the church says to forgive because it's for us, but there's not a space for us to hash stuff out. There's not a space for us to be hurt. I mean, if someone hurt me, I'm going to be hurt.
Right.
We just have to pray and give it to God. No, we have to deal with it.
Yep.
I gotta go to them and say, you hurt me. You hurt
Yep.
me. Because, and I, whether that means you need to apologize or not, but I've always lived by this. If you hurt me, I'm going to tell you. Because for one, I'm an adult. I can say what I want to say. And two, you cross the boundary. And anytime people hurt us, they cross the boundary, except if you don't set boundaries. I set boundaries with people.
Right. Right.
And so the church has been such a breeding ground for unforgiveness. And we just say, give it to God. No, give it to the person who hurt you so they can fix it.
Right.
So they can fix the flaw.
Right.
And the character flaw. That doesn't mean they're a horrible person. That
Right.
just means that they need accountability because we, the person who's hurt, we have to take on this accountability of the hurt that they caused.
Yeah.
We have to take on that accountability and say, God, well, they hurt me, but I got to forgive them because that's what you would do. No,
Yeah.
Jesus, he went in on the Pharisees and the Sadducees. He went in on them. He didn't say, well, I'm just going to pray and give it to my Father. No, he was
You talking
human.
right.
We're
You talking
humans with these emotions and this heart that feels and this heart that breaks. And if you break my heart, I need to tell you so you can fix you.
acknowledgement is key though.
Yes.
Right. Like, and at the end of the day, I was talking to somebody, I can't remember who I was talking to, but I was saying, like, if you don't tell the person, if you don't have that conversation with that person, they would never know. I think I was talking to my son. Yeah, he was like, because he has a friend, and he's like, there's just certain things that I just don't want to do. And I said, well, but she keeps like pushing me, but now she's mad at me. And I said, that's because you haven't called her on her stuff. And then you haven't set boundaries either. So she just feels like she can do and say whatever she wants because you haven't called her on it. And at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, if you call her on it, you hold her accountable and you set boundaries, and then you guys move on. And if you don't move on, then that just means that the chapter is closed, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Forgive that's good though. It's
Yeah.
yeah, that's good. Wow.
It it's those tough conversations that
Yeah.
people avoid. I absolutely love having tough conversations. In the moment, it's like, yeah, I gotta have this conversation. And I just had one of those with my spiritual mother. Um, but those tough conversations create so much intimacy, and it just creates a space where there's trust
Yeah.
and there's accountability
Yeah.
and there's love there. If you don't tell me that I hurt you, do you love me enough to want me to get better? Do you
Right.
love me enough to want me to change? And yeah, forgiveness is that space where you can just hurt. You don't have to hurt in front of people. You
Yeah.
don't. You don't have to, go to the altar. Go to the altar. I'm not against that. But you don't always have to do that. Like,
Yeah.
you just have to allow yourself that space to be hurt and not stuff. I've stuffed so much.
Yeah.
I've
You and me both.
stuffed so much just so people won't be uncomfortable.
Yep. But I was so uncomfortable.
You know how many people I saved from a cuss out?
Right.
Because cuss outs, they heal people.
Right.
They do. They heal people. If my best friends, for instance, God bless them for being my best friends, because it's rough being my best friend. Because I'm a confronter. I
Mm,
confront, and I I do it in love. But if it comes down to my feelings and yours, it ain't gonna be me. It ain't gonna be me. Um, but those tough conversations, they just create so much intimacy and strength and within a relationship. But um, yeah, forgiveness is powerful
yes, it
if we
is.
do it. If we do it right, there's no
Yeah.
right or wrong way, but there is a wrong way to do something.
Yeah.
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 Oh,
Yeah.
I agree.
I know. Um, and it's, it's again like what Sylvia, my spiritual Sylvia Kearney, my spiritual mom, she just said
I
too as
love
well.
her.
I know she's dope. Um, skipping the process. We can't skip the process, right?
Mm,
And that's the thing. We don't like process, right? So you, like you said, you are a confronter. Like I was that wasn't me. Right? Like me, like doing this and talking about this and writing my book and all, like that was like, I feel like that was the most uncomfortable feeling, because in my thought processes, I was always a person of, not wanting any conflict, right? Like I want everybody to be happy. Everything is dandelions and everything is peaches and roses and all that stuff. And it's like, no, that's not life, Naisha. Like
mm,
sometimes there has to be uncomfortable conversations.
mhm.
Like because at the end of the day, if you continue to walk around with a muzzle on your mouth, you're the only one that's suffering. And everybody has moved on with their life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so process is needed. And you just gotta, I know it sounds like cliche, but you gotta trust the process as
Yeah.
you're going through it.
Mhm.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good. That is so good. So good. So good. Oh my goodness, this is great. It was so much stuff that you said too as well. Um about going back to forgiveness, right?
Mhm.
You wrote that I would forgive myself for suffering, for, yeah, for stuffing my pain, and you said that a couple of times, like you stuffed, right? So can you talk about a moment of you stuffing your pain and what that like looked like for you?
Even recently, last summer, something happened with my mother. Me and my mom were like best friends. Like best friends. We always have been. We talk about almost everything together,
Mm.
except the spiritual stuff, because we don't really get down like that spiritually together, and that's fine. She's saved, but we don't. I let her bring it
Yep.
out if that's what she want to do. But she did something that hurt me. I mean, it
Mm.
really, really hurt me. And because she's not the type to talk about things like that.
Mm.
She old school.
Right.
Go on, sweep it under the rug, and
Yep.
we
And we
move
keep it
on,
moving. Yep.
because it didn't affect her.
Yeah.
And so I still haven't had the opportunity to tell her, you hurt me. She knew I was
Mm.
mad at her because I called her when I wasn't mad at her anymore. And I said, I'm not mad at you no more. I just needed her to know that.
Right.
But it was still hurtful what she did. And so, but I stuffed it. And to this day, we haven't talked about it. And not talking about it, it's building a wall.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I never want to do, especially with my mother. I'm okay with building some walls, because some walls are boundaries. They protect my heart. They guard
Right.
my heart. They guard my energy. They guard my peace.
Right.
But there's been situations like that where people hurt me, and because there's not a space for me to talk about it, I stuff it.
Yeah.
I respect people's boundaries. Like I can't just go like, this is what you did and this how I felt. We both have to come to a place where like, okay, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that, and I still need to forgive myself for that. Like,
Yeah.
and not because this is my issue. It's my issue. And not, say, well, we ain't ever going to be the same, because no, if I'm not going to talk about it, if we can't talk about it, I have to accept some things. And that's one of the big things that pushed me into a healed place,
Mm.
is acceptance. Not accepting people. I accept people for who they are, and you show me who you are, I believe you. But um the tough things that I had to deal with, especially with God, me and God, and me and my situation, and not being so angry at people because they weren't there for me when I was there for them.
Yeah.
I had to accept the fact that some things are just the way they are. Some people, they're humans. They're just trying to make great decisions and be the best version of themselves. That ain't got nothing to do with me. But I just had to accept some things. And with me accepting things, um, it just created a space for me to be healed and
Yeah.
and um sit in that healing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And
But yeah,
understanding that, unmasking is a forever journey. There's just no like, okay, I'm done. I'm good. Unmasked. I'm good. I'm done. I'm healed. And I'm just going to walk this thing out. Like, no. Like, as you continue to unmask and uncover and unveil, like, literally, you're like continuing just to like keep pulling back. And then there's another layer of something that you have to deal with, that you have to acknowledge, that you have to walk through, that you have to allow yourself to sit in the hurt and the pain. And it's so funny and ironic how you mentioned a situation with your mom, right? Because it's kind of like I'm dealing with the same thing too, as well, right? Like my mom and I, we have had conversations, but not to the depths of, us being able to feel safe enough, to have a safe enough space to really, you know what I'm saying, allow it to be free. And my thing is, I've learned now during this journey that I really just have to allow God to be God,
hmm
right? And not in my timing. Because my thing is, I'm like, listen, I just want to get this over with. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to have this conversation so we can move on. And it's like, no, but that's how you used to do things, right? And you used to sweep things under the rug, and you used to not want to deal with things, and you used to just put band-aids on it and just keep it moving. Like, no, like you really gonna have to sit in this thing and walk this thing out. Right. So I know that, my first layer was just surface layer. Now I understand that I'm getting underneath, like for real, this next layer of what I'm beginning to unmask. And my
hmm
heart, I feel like is softening, because I was very angry. I was very angry with my parents, not even just my mom, but I was angry with my mother and my father. So me like going through this journey, it has really taught me, a lot about me, right? And also the role that I played, right, because of me not dealing with my hurts, my traumas, my pains, me not speaking up, right? Like my father, he never even knew like I was feeling the way that I was feeling. Like he didn't know I was going through what I was going through, because I would just shut down and, like you said, stuff,
hmm
because that's what I was used to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And even with that, you said let God be God. Um, I'm gonna put a pin right there.
Yep.
And so 2 years ago, my world just 3 years ago now, because COVID started 2020, but that
Right.
just trashed me.
Yeah.
Really trashed me.
Oh yeah, that did
Um,
too. Yeah. We could
for
go.
a,
We could
for
go.
a lot of different reasons. It just
Woo!
I really checked out. I checked out
Yeah.
for a while, and even with that, I began this journey of finding truth. Actually, this started in 2015 when I started to seek God for truth, and I'm here now with this truth that God has just given me
Right.
since 2015. And it started because I was reading the Bible, and I just saw a bunch of white people in the Bible. That's all, because that's how I'm reading all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, they must be white. Like they're white, but they're near Africa. Like they're white though. And so I'm like, God, if if I'm gonna read this Bible, I need to be empowered to see me in the Bible, even though
Mm.
a historical document. It's a historical document. And we forget that part.
Right.
It's historical document that wasn't written for us over here, but it's for us because it was inspired by God.
Right.
And so, and I believe anything that's inspired by God is for us, period. I don't
Yeah.
care what it is. If that strawberry was inspired by God, it's for me. It's for
Period.
me. So I
I'm with you,
started this,
sis.
listen, I started this journey and he said, oh, I need you to research the 12 tribes. I need you to research them. And I began researching them. I mean, I bought books written by Black Hebrew Israelites. I was deep in it, like deep, like, oh, maybe I'm a Black Hebrew Israelite. Maybe that's me. I'm serious. That's me. And so, because I had to make it make sense.
Right.
And so I studied the 12 tribes and I discovered that, well, it's a discovery for me, but that they were all brown. And I said, okay, this makes sense. And so I'm going through this journey since 2015. And now I'm in this place where you said, let God be God. And yes, in most situations, I'm gonna say most, we do need to let God be God.
Yeah.
But is there, and this is just a general question, but is there, to the people that's here, is there a, does there come a time and a point in our walk with God that we stand in who we are and we
Mm.
become everything that we've learned and everything that, you know, we've been taught to be, because we have God strength and God power and God wisdom and Christ consciousness and all of that, and God consciousness and all of that. We let God be God when God needs to be God. But there's a part of God that I discovered during this time where he just exists.
Yeah.
And that's the craziest part, that he's just God and he just exists above anything else, above, you know, the love that he has and the protection that he provides. But do we just be? Do we
Mm.
just look back at our own track record and say, "Oh, I was trash there, but I grew." And so now I have to be this version of myself that I grew into.
Yeah, that's
I have
good.
to be this version of myself that God approves of. And so while God is being God, he still won't violate his own law.
Right.
And we still have to be accountable for who we are. And
Yeah.
so do we just, let God be God in everything, or do we take ownership of this beautiful image that we're created in? And
Yeah.
do we walk this thing out? And, oh, I know that I need to forgive, but will you? Or will you let them come to you and apologize? Or will
Mm.
you go to them and say, you know what, sis? You know what, bro? I was wrong too. I was wrong too. I apologize too.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's this. I just have so much, just so much. But that's this part where um maturity has to be a part of the body.
Yeah.
That we're not just putting everything on God and saying, "Oh well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let God handle it." No, be an adult. No, sis,
Right.
be 38, be
Yeah.
52,
Right. Accountability.
right, and be an adult about it and
Yep.
handle it. And I think that's so important. That's so important. Like through this healing process and this journey, I just had to. There was nothing I could do.
Right.
So I had to let God work it out, and He sent a beautiful soul to heal me. That's the moral of the story, that I'm healed.
Yeah.
But I had to let God be God. But with my mother, we invited her to brunch on Sunday. So I'm gonna use this opportunity to express to her in a way that won't offend her and that
Right.
won't ruin the moment, and say, I want us to be better. I want our relationship to be better.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about this. I
Right.
don't want, because God may not talk to her. He may not
Right.
tell her.
Right. So
He may
you'll
not.
be waiting forever on something that that he's like, "Oh, I'm not in that. I'm
Right.
waiting on you. I
That
I
part.
poured enough into you for you to be the one to move."
That part. That's what I'm saying.
Yep,
That's what I'm saying.
I got
Let's,
you.
let's be humans
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
And I think that's the greatest expression of love for God is
yeah,
that we can be the example that He put in us, that He put before us in Jesus.
yeah,
Jesus is the greatest example of love, the greatest.
yeah,
And so I know, and so let's be that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That was good. That was a very good like breakdown
Hmm.
of what it, because it's just like I remember my father was, talking to me too. He was like, because I'm a huge advocate, of therapy, right?
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, therapy only works, right, if you begin to start using the tools that
So you
giving.
giggle.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it only works if you start to use the tools, right? Because I'm giggling because in my brain, when I first started to go to therapy, I'm like, the therapist is gonna fix me. Everything's gonna be good. I'm gonna be good. Therapist is gonna fix me. I'm not gonna have to worry about anything. Like I had like this fantasy life of therapy, right? Not realizing like the therapist is like, no, I'm good. I'm sitting on the chair and I'm just listening. You got to do the work, sis. I'm like, oh, this is how this
Hmm.
works, huh? Yeah. So that's God. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, like you said, allowing him to be who he is, right? Because he is all knowing, right? He can do it all. But at the end of the day, he pushes us, right? He pours into us for us to do the work that his word says, right? And
Hmm.
not just part of the word, what the whole word says. So, and I'm not no, I don't know scriptures. I can't quote scriptures. I don't even sit on a platform and act like I can. Right. I just know that I've been on this journey that I am on, this unmasking journey that I am on. It's just been me and him rocking out. Like, and he just been like, he's been the one that really has been pushing me and molding me and shaping me to be a better version of me.
Hmm. It's a
So
beautiful thing. I love to see it and hear about it. It's a beautiful thing.
it really is. It really, really is. And just to go back to like not even realizing that you were going through all that last year and you like I've had several conversations with you because we were in the process of publishing my book and never even knew that you were suffering like that.
And so here's the thing. One, I have a great team. Bree Bree, hands down.
Yeah.
Mom, my spiritual mom is on. Apostle Martina Mitchell. I
Hi.
love you. And so I have a great team. I have great support. And when I couldn't do something, it got done. It got done. There was a period of a month where I had to take a leave from my job because I was just done. And this was in June. And I was just done. I couldn't think. I couldn't speak. I love you more. I couldn't nothing. I couldn't talk. I couldn't nothing. And I have a great team. And when it comes to business, we're not gonna stop the business. I'm a deal with me on the back end, and if I just can't do it, it's not gonna get done until I can do it.
Right.
And so, and I'm not like I don't put that kind of stuff out on Facebook. I don't put that out. And if people aren't in my immediate circle, you probably won't know,
No. Right.
because that's a burden. And I don't ever want to burden anybody with anything because people got their own burdens and people got
Yeah.
their own lives falling apart and people, you know. And so, yeah, not many people knew. Not many. I think maybe about a handful of people knew that I was really going through this. And I'm glad that they kept it between us.
Yeah. Now that right there,
Yeah,
that's friendship.
it is.
That
It
that's
is.
that that's that is the example of what true friendship and honor is.
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing. I remember one night calling Bree, and I was just so mad. I was so hurt because I'm like, how come God not gonna heal me? Like I'm not His favorite child no more, and this is devastating to me because in my mind I'm His favorite.
Right.
And she just listened, and she was like, "I hear you, best friend. I hear you." And I mean, I'm going off. All the bad cuss words that came out of my mouth, all of them. I'm
Period.
going off. And she just continued to love me, and she just continued to listen, and she continues to listen to this day and love me to this day. And I think we all need people like that around us that will keep our stuff.
Yeah.
Like don't just be with me because I'm dope,
Right.
but be here and keep my stuff,
Yeah.
because I'm gonna keep their stuff, and I do. But
Yeah.
no, it's not a lot of people that know. Because how what I'm gonna say, since I can't do the book because I'm sick, you done paid me already. You done paid me. I can't do it because
Right.
I won't. I can't get up. No, 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 no. Bree, I need you to handle this. I need you to do this call. I need you to do this. I need. And I had hired 5 editors, so I'm like, I need y'all to do this, edit that, edit this, and they kept this going.
Right.
Literally kept my they.
A
Get you a
blessing.
team. Get you a team
Word.
that will keep your stuff going when you can't
Yes.
do it.
Yes. That is just that's just super dope. That's
Yeah.
I love to see it. I love to see it. You because it's like if you win, I win. We
Right.
all win.
Let's win. Let's win, sis. Let's
Like
win.
we all gonna win, right?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
nobody wasn't like, well, this yours. This ain't me. Like, no, you gotta do it. Like, no, like, listen, you need me, you down, I got you.
Yep.
Right? Like that, I just feel like that's just so dope. So
Friends
dope.
who cover you until you recover. Listen.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That
Mm-hmm.
is so good. Oh my goodness. I feel like I keep saying this to every guest. I gotta have you back on. I have to figure out how to like. I mean, I have so many things that I want to do. Like God just downloads a lot of things on what He wants me to do with this whole unmasking journey. Like there's just so much truth and honor. And all my guests that come on and really kind of like just talk about their process, and the transparency has been nothing but amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna figure this out. But it's gonna be whatever it is. Like it's gonna be super dope eventually because I want everybody. I want all my guests to come back on a second time around. So I just have to figure out what that's gonna look like.
Yeah.
But I just honor and thank you for just for your willingness, right, to just come on because it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? Unmasking yourself to people,
Yeah.
like you have to be comfortable with what you've been through and who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I really really appreciate it. So I want to give just a few more moments for you to kind of like just talk about like your special projects that you have coming up. Also your publishing company. Just kind of brag about yourself a little bit. So I want to give you the floor to be able to do that.
Well, I do that very well. I brag about myself very well
As
because
you should,
I
sis.
think I think I'm really decent. Like I, I think I'm really decent. And so, the publishing company, Throne Room Expressions Publishing, is the publishing company. And a big studio. Yes, live. Yes,
Yeah, right. All of it, right? Yes,
yes. Your
that's
first
my sis. That's my sis. Yeah.
this. And so we're just a publishing company. We publish books, we do ebooks, we ghostwrite. Um Bree does a lot, she does all the graphics. I
Oh,
have a great graphic designer, I have great editors.
yes.
And that's the publishing company. And so I just launched, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I am. So I just launched my fourth business a couple weeks ago
Wow.
called Booked and Bougie. And Booked and Bougie is a brand for Black women. It's a space for Black women, entrepreneurs and emerging entrepreneurs. Could be teenagers, older women, whoever. If you're Black, it's for you.
Right.
If you want to be an entrepreneur, it's for you. And it's a space for us to talk about the business. I'm going to teach about the business credit LLCs, website building, all of marketing, branding, all of that. But the bigger picture is to help women get out of here.
Mm.
And whatever that looks like. And also just collab with some dope entrepreneurs. Once I got out of here, that's where all of this comes from. All of
Yeah.
this, all of the businesses, all of the creativity. When it was 2000, everything, a lot happened in 2015. I was on the bed with my niece, and I think she might have been, no, this might have been 2017. I was on the bed with my niece, was playing Uno, and I was killing her. She was probably like 7. I was killing her. I showed no mercy.
Right.
We're just playing, and she says to me, you know, everything that's in your head is going to come out. And I said,
Mm.
what? I said, what you say? She said, and she just went right back to playing. She went right back to playing. And that spoke volumes to me because everything that I am doing now was stuck. It was
Mm.
stuck up here. And God was saying to me, it's going to come out. You just have to learn how to move things around, how to declutter, and how to pull it out of you.
Mm.
And Booked and Bougie brand is just that. Let me teach you how to recognize your vision. I'm not
Right.
giving you the vision, but let me teach you how to recognize it. Habakkuk 1, it says the prophet went up on the watchtower to hear what God said. No, to
Mm.
see what God said. And then
Mm.
Habakkuk 2, we get write the vision, make it plain.
Plain. Right.
And so I want to teach people how to recognize vision. I want to teach people through Booked and Bougie how to write the vision, how to cast the vision. Casting is important in
Yeah.
the process of vision and moving things and manifestation. And I also want to teach people how to expand vision. No one talks about expanding it.
Mm. That's
Everything
good.
everything I'm doing, I'm expanding the vision that God has given me. Some stuff I knew about, some stuff is new to me. And so that's what Booked and Bougie is. It's just a space for us to sort of unmask. So is this what I'm going through? How can I get through this? I'm going to bring in some really dope Black entrepreneurs. I'm going to bring in some therapists. I'm going to bring in some. It's not just for the church. It's not just for the body of Christ. I'm really hoping I get more people who, just believe that God exists
Yeah.
and just come along. It's not just exclusively for the believer.
Right.
And so I have that. What else can I talk about?
I know, right? Like what else?
There's so much. There's so many things that I am working on that I can't tell right now because which is why I had to launch Booked and Bougie quicker than I wanted to because I told somebody and they did something that let me know that they might steal it because they
Mm.
stole something else from me. And so I said, okay, let me just launch it really quickly so they can't say that, yes, people need it. People need it. And there's so much greatness on the inside of people that's stopping them because they're stuck in here.
Yep.
They're stuck in here. And so um, I am getting ready to launch hopefully in the next month. And I shared it a little briefly with you. Um, Bougie Girl virtual assistants. And so we're gonna have virtual assistants. If you need an assistant for whatever you need an assistant for your business, for your ministry, um, we're gonna be that for people. So they can have a virtual assistant. It's important that we get help. It's important because we can't do it all.
Woo!
We can't, and that's a part of the unmasking is that I can't do this by myself.
I
And
really had a moment like that today. I felt like
mhm,
I did. I'm like, this is just, God, this is a lot. Like
mhm,
you gave this to me. I know you did, but it's getting to be a lot.
mhm.
I need some help on the administrative side because it's a
Yep.
lot.
Yep,
It's a lot.
that's what we're doing. I have an amazing assistant who I'm about to start working with, and she's just been doing this. I said, let's do a business. Let's bring this in and let's promote it and let's build it and let's hire people. Let's make money. Let's make our community better. And let's help people. And
Yeah.
so I'm all about helping people. I'm
Yeah.
all about if you win while we winning, then we winning.
Come
We
on,
winning.
sis. Come
We are
on.
winning. And so there's some other things that um I have on the horizon that everyone will see very, very soon. Everybody is going to see it.
I'm
And
excited.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
And
excited
this
for you.
this will probably be the reason why you bring me back. I'm gonna just say that this will be the reason why you bring me back. I
Yeah.
promise you. Everyone's gonna be like, let's talk about this, sis.
Right. Right. I love it. I love it. I'm excited. I'm excited to be connected. Right. So I'll definitely make sure that I put Throne Room Expressions website in the comments after the episode. And then does Book and Bougie have a website too as well? Or
Not yet.
okay.
I haven't decided if I wanted it to be separate or if I want to
Got you.
add it to my
To-
current website.
Okay.
But very, very soon.
Okay, yeah,
Very,
no worries. I mean, my
very
thing is I just want people to be able to, if any, when people watch it and or they watch the, the rebroadcast, I want them to be able to, be able to reach out to you. So,
soon.
yes, so she is tagged in the comments, so you can always just, message her. And then, like I said, I am definitely going to put her website too as well in the comment section too as well. So I cannot before. So our time is up, right? But
Mhm.
I like to be respectful of people's time too as well. But I cannot let you go without saying your hashtag, right? Because everybody always I love a good hashtag, right? And I loved your hashtag, but I was like I wonder like what Char thought process was when she wrote her hashtag. Do you remember what your hashtag was?
Absolutely. I do. It was
So, because like you had it like it was capital then lowercase, like was
Mhm.
that like on purpose or was that like I knew it was. So, what was the thought process?
And so the thought process was just what um I'm living now. And the Lord gave me that specifically 2 years ago, 3 years
Mm,
ago. Um, and so it's hashtag become,
yeah,
but BE is capital.
right.
And so being, becoming, and this is a part of Booked and Bougie also, is teaching people how to not just exist,
Yeah,
but to evolve.
yeah,
And so to the word be means to basically evolve.
yeah,
And so that's all that was. Let's evolve into and exist in a space where there's a bunch of other people existing, but our purpose is our purpose. So
yeah,
let's evolve into what we're supposed to do and who we're supposed to be and who we're supposed to reach and not care if it looks like that. There's a bunch of people who have podcasts and they talk about unmasking because that's the thing.
right,
But yours is causing this dialogue. And I only know because I'm on it,
right.
and it's people can relate to it, and it's going to evolve into hopefully what sis said, a live thing where
Yeah,
we could come together and just you know glean from other women or men. I don't know if you have men on here, but glean, but just evolve and not just exist,
yeah,
not just you know shrink
right.
because there's people who are doing things that we're doing or doing things that we want to do. But yeah, let's evolve, let's become, let's
Yeah.
become.
So
Hmm.
hashtag become. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I want to again thank you so much, My
You're
sister
welcome.
Char. This has been nothing but a blessing. I appreciate again. I appreciate you for coming on and your willingness just to be transparent. And just be open
Hmm.
and be honest. But most importantly, just be who you are.
Hmm.
It was
Thank
dope.
you.
It was
Thank
definitely
you.
dope.
You're dope. I love you.
Oh, I love you too. Thank you so much. Thank you. I
Hmm.
appreciate you. So, if we don't have nothing else, we out, y'all. Good night.